Hi, I'm Ashley Adamson, and this is a very different kind of video because I'm outside and I have an AR-15. So I'm doing a little bit of a different video today because I'm talking about fear and kind of like how it relates to you in your life and what things you can be taking action on. That's what I want to explore with you today. So I've just recovered from COVID. My voice is still a little bit shot, and I need to spit and cough here and there like that. There's also a fire outside, and I don't know if you can hear the gunshots in the background, but there's also like a shooting range nearby, which is also why I have a gun, because I live out in the country, and out here in the country, it's sort of like table stakes to have a gun. It's just a part of living out here. There's 2 sheriffs. It takes them 30 minutes to get to any place, so no one's going to defend your property like yourself. Everyone kind of keeps themselves out here in the country, and that's kind of great. Yeah, last night I was kind of listening to the wind bustling up against my window and what sounded like things or people outside, and I thought to myself, yeah, I'm alone. And if anyone were to break into this house right now, which wouldn't be too hard, how am I going to defend myself? Or am I just going to say, please don't kill me, you know? Which is where kind of like something like this comes in, because I can say, get the fuck out of my place. And, you know, that's the end of the story. But the thing is this magazine here is unloaded. There's nothing in it. And I actually haven't shot this gun before. I've shot a gun, but not this one. And I only shot 1 bullet, so can't say that I'm an expert. But it just made me realize, hey, Ashley, you're scared of shooting this gun because it's a gun. And you're scared of loading the gun, and you don't want to fire a bullet, yet you also are afraid of someone breaking and entering, and you know what it's like out here. Like, there's meth heads not very far from here, and they could just kind of come over here and try and steal stuff, right? So I thought to myself, you know, it's time that I have a loaded magazine ready to go. But even if I have a loaded magazine, how do I even use the gun? I have been trained for maybe a few hours, but I haven't shot the gun myself. I haven't done any target practice or anything. So I should probably do that. And as I kind of like went through loading my magazine, I realized, hey, this is probably a great video for other people to talk about their fears. So I kind of wanted to bring this up for you in terms of thinking about your fears, which is like, you have fears, right? You acknowledge them. Like, what are you afraid of? Let me share some of my fears. I'm afraid as a trans woman that I'll never find my partner that's for me. I'll never find my soulmate because either my standards are too high, or the fact that I'm trans kind of just marks me as damaged goods that no one would want to actually be my partner for. And then money, like, am I going to have enough wealth to support myself, especially if I can't raise a family or I don't have a partner to support me? How am I going to survive? How am I going to take care of myself and live the life that I want to live? So money is a fear. Wealth is a fear. And the other fear is kind of like fitness. Like, as I get older, my body's going to sag. Am I going to look more like a man? Am I going to get more masculinization features in my body? What do I do about that? And these kinds of things I don't have complete control over, especially around finding a partner. But wealth, I do have some degree of control. So, and also fitness, I have a degree of control. So when I look at these things, I look at them as like, what are the actions that you can take against these fears? These fears that you have that kind of chronically appear and show up on and on and on. And maybe they've just happened for you for so long that it's just become a radiation in the background, an anxiety, a white noise that's just, you know, just sitting there right behind you, and you don't even notice it because you're so used to it. I don't know if you've transitioned or you're even thinking about things like that, but for myself, it's like I was so used to the background radiation of pretending to be a man and not knowing it, that I'm still undoing all of the layers of like what I've stored in my body, like the trauma of storing in my shoulders, pretending to be like big and large, and kind of like all of those things in my neurological processes that I'm still undoing. And so if you can look at these fears, these things that you're afraid of, and ask yourself, well, what are you willing to do about them? What are you willing to work against these things that you're afraid of? I'm afraid of people coming into my place and killing me or stealing my stuff. What am I willing to do? Am I willing to take this gun here and like learn to load it and aim it at someone? Like, am I willing to do that? And yeah, I am, because I mean, my life is on the line. What else am I gonna do? Please don't kill me, please don't shoot. If I have a choice between being the predator and being the sheep, I'm gonna be the predator, you know? So like, what are you afraid of? And what are the actions that you can take to move against these fears, to work against these fears? Now, fears should not be driving you. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that you should let fear drive your decisions. I got a gun because I just think guns are cool, and I've played like video games and military simulations and stuff like that ever since I was a kid. And so getting one of these is kind of like a toy, right? But it's not a toy as well. It's a very serious thing, which is why it actually freaks me out and scares me, and why I haven't shot it or loaded it. But I'm going to do that today, and I thought that would be fun to make this video about it. But anyways, fear's not driving you, right? Like, the fear of someone coming into my house and potentially killing me is a fear, but it's not driving my decision making. I'm not like living my day around this fear, but I am acknowledging, hey, Ashley, you're afraid of this. This is not an impossible fear. This is something that is actually possible, even though it's probably very minuscule and never will happen. But having a little bit of insurance and having something that you are interested in and could be a hobby of yours is worth positioning yourself against that. So, you know, spend like, I think it's like $1,500 for a gun like this. Get it together and learn to shoot. Try not to shoot too much because bullets are expensive, but just have enough to protect yourself and add that little bit of extra security in your life, so you don't have to feel like, well, what do? I don't have anything to do. And I'm like that with everything else, like finding my partner. I'm going out on dates. I'm leaving the door open and never closing the door. Always going to keep going out on dates and just seeing who's out there. Trying to not keep a standard that's too high or expectations in certain ways, and being open and flexible for what shows up. And then money, it's like money's probably the easier thing, because you just say, all right, I need to develop a skill that there's a lot of demand for and not a lot of people can do, and just go super, super deep into it and be really, really good at it. And that way wealth will kind of follow. And then fitness for my body, right? Like, just keep exercising, be determined. So, you know, like whatever you're afraid of, like I think for trans people or people who are questioning, it's like, people who are questioning are like, am I wrong? Am I actually trans? Am I actually a woman, or am I just making a mistake here? Well, how do you know? Like, what are you more afraid of? Are you more afraid of making a mistake, or are you more afraid of the fact that you didn't figure out that you were making a mistake by not transitioning? You know, that's kind of a lot more frightening, and that's something that made me transition. Looking back at my life and saying, oh, like there's that fork there where I could have explored this and seen what was on the other side, and I didn't, and I died, and have this unanswered question of, am I female? And that is more frightening to me, not answering that question, than cross-dressing and going out and putting myself in harm's way potentially just by being a non-passing trans woman. I know you're like, what the fuck, Ashley, you're passing. Well, that's because I paid for surgery, and you know, I'm $60,000 out of pocket on that. Fuck, being trans is so expensive, which is why wealth is like one of my priorities, because it's like, well, are you going to be afraid of the fact that you're not going to have money and just complain about capitalism and complain about the fact that you can't get paid enough for what you think is good labor? No, it's like, follow the labor market, figure out what's out there, figure out what you can teach yourself and learn, and go fucking do it and make a shit ton of money. Like, why not? So I'm going on a tangent at that point. Let's like shoot this thing. So first, before I shoot this, I want to just show this a little bit to people that like guns. So this is kind of like a custom center piece. I don't know what it's called, but people would tell me that I put the scope over the barrel, but actually this is where the end is right here. So this is actually a correct placement. Other people also say your flashlight's on the wrong side, but it's actually on the correct side for me because I'm going to be eventually getting a silencer and putting the silencer on the top. And when you have a silencer on it, it's going to heat up. And so when it like rests against your body, it could burn you, but this light kind of keeps the silencer from burning you. So that's that. And then I have a red dot, which is kind of like I don't know if you can see the dot, but yeah, I have a Russian red dot or whatever. I don't think it's Russian, but in video games it's Russian. So yeah, so I'm gonna shoot a bullet, maybe a couple, and this is gonna be my first time using this gun, and kind of like the only second time that I ever shot a rifle. So let's see how this goes. I'm gonna take out the empty magazine and put in the real magazine. I've labeled it with some anime hot girls, so I know which one is actually like the real magazine. Is it not in? Okay, cool. And yeah, I'm gonna fire a bullet, and this is about taking action and getting over your fears. And this is probably something that I've been a little scared of, is actually firing my gun. So let's do this. Okay. Wow. So, I shot a gun. Holy shit. Oh my god. Wow. Well, now I guess I know how to shoot it. It was a lot louder than I expected. Not as much kickback. And I guess I am slightly a little bit more ready if I need to use it. I'm gonna have to check the chamber, remove any bullets, and make sure that it's empty. But this is Ashley Adamson. Thanks for joining me on my episode about fear. I hope you can think about this as it relates to your life. Go figure out what is the thing that you're afraid of. Prepare for it, like I am, and take action on it, like I just did. Think about what is your gun, what is the thing that you're afraid of, and go find that thing and work against it. Make your life better. I'll see you in another episode soon. I'm Ashley Adamson. Bye.